Hello, today I'm going to show you how to implement Webpack in a new application, use Webpack to bundle ES6 modules, optimize HTML, CSS, and JavaScript output for a quick download, and use loaders to handle Sass precompiling and Babel transpiling. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is run npm init-y to download my package.json file, and when you click on it, you'll see it's located here. After that, I want to install rather the Webpack as well as the Webpack CLI. In order to do that, I'll do npm I Webpack and then Webpack-CLI, and we want to save it as a dev dependency. So save-dev. When we do that, you'll see that the dev dependencies of Webpack and Webpack CLI are located in the package.json. I need a new folder, so I'm going to create a new folder and call it src. It'll be our source folder. In the src folder, I want to create a file that's called index.js. Okay. And index.js will be the default entry point for Webpack. So in here, I want to console log Webpack is awesome. All right. So if we want to run things from our project, we can go back to the terminal and type in npx webpack -- mode and then set it to development. And here it created our dist file. It's created a bundle folder, and it's taken our index.js file and put it into main.js. And you'll see it here. Console log Webpack is awesome. We don't have an index.html file yet, so we don't have a way to display this in the browser. But these are the default settings in Webpack. So now I want to change the name of my file. Instead of index.js, I'll change it to app.js. So now I want to add some scripts to my package.json file. We've got the test here. I can add, not web, we can do dev and webpack -- mode development. And I can also create a build script. And webpack -- mode production. What I could do is create my own index.html file here, but it's better to have Webpack create one for me. And there's actually a plugin that you can download that does all that. And to install it, we would do npm I html webpack plugin. And you want to make sure that you save it as a dev dependency also. Alright, and we'll see that the HTML Webpack plugin has been downloaded there, has been installed there. So now I'm going to create a new file that's a config file for Webpack. So in the root folder, we'll create a new file. It's called webpack.config.js. And now I want to import the plugin that I just installed. And I'll do it with the common JS import, not the ES6. And what I want to do is type in const HTML Webpack plugin, and we're going to require it as well. And I'm also going to need path, which is built into Node. So I'll do const path, require path. And then I need to do an export in this file. I'll export a module that contains all the settings that we have for Webpack. It'll be module.exports. Equal. We have a property that's called plugins, and it takes in an array. You just type in plugins, and then we want new HTML Webpack plugin, which is what we used up here. So we have parentheses, and we're going to give it an object. We'll call it title, and we'll say Webpack is awesome. I may change it up a little bit. Instead of Webpack is awesome, we'll just say Webpack is really, really awesome. You gotta love Webpack. Now I need to change the entry point to Webpack since I changed the name to app.js. So at the top, I'm gonna add a property called entry. Alright, and it's an object that we'll set to main, and we'll use path that was imported from Node up at the top. I need to change that out. There we go. Main path dot resolve. And change that out to app.js. And right above the plugins, I can change the output. So I'll type in output. So I can get a file name that I'll want to add my main.js to, which is the default for my JS file. In order to do that, I can do like some dynamic naming to where I would put name in brackets .bundle.js. It'll be my bundle file. For this, I also want a path resolve. So create a path and path.resolve. And it just means it'll go into the dist folder, which is the same folder as before. Okay, so there was an error with the HTML Webpack plugin. It wasn't properly installed. There's been a lot of syntax changes with Webpack in recent months, and it's constantly changing. So the proper one to do is npm install --save -dev html -webpack -plugin. So it's installed. It should work now. It shows up under dev dependencies in the package.json file, not just in the package lock JSON. So now it's in where it's in its proper place. So hopefully now it works. npm run dev. So I had to remove my webpack.config.js file out of the source folder. And that fixed the build. So now we have the index.html that has been built via Webpack into the dist folder, which you'll see it here. And it has the script automatically generated main.bundle.js. I did not have to create this. Webpack did it on its own. And here you'll also see the title, Webpack is really, really awesome. So now that we've done the npm run dev, we can now remove the old file, main.js. Okay. And let's format the index.html. And going back to where we had the file name that had a dynamic, we made the name more dynamic, so you could just call it bundle.js, but it shows main.bundle.js for us. You can use either one, but this makes it more identifiable if you have more than one. So one thing I want to do is I can take my index.html and open with the live server, and you'll see it says Webpack is really awesome, because as we all know, Webpack is really awesome. And if I go to inspect and I inspect the console, we have Webpack is awesome there. We can have Webpack auto update and save it on a web server for us. So if we do npm install webpack dev server and save it as a dev dependency. Let it update there. So when we go to our package.json, we've got the Webpack dev server there. So when we go back to our webpack-config, somewhere after the output, you can do dev server, and it wants an object here. So under here we can type static /dist, and we want open to set to true. Add the comma there. And then we'll need to go back to, which one is it? The package.json, and change the script. We need to change the script and add serve, webpack serve. So if we add serve, it should bring up the server. Right, and when I type in npm run dev, and it automatically comes up with the localhost 8080. So now what we want to do is add some stuff in here to show that it's compiling, but we can't just write, just leave it at regular JavaScript ES6. We'll have to bring it down to ES5 so that all browsers can view it, and we'll have to use a compiler like Babel in order to do that. First I want to install the Babel loader, which is the loader for Webpack. And then I'll also install Babel core, which is the core library. And I'll also do the Babel preset env, which is the basic presets that we'll use. So to install all of those, you can do all three at once by just typing in npm install Babel loader, and then at Babel/core, then at Babel/preset -env -- we want to save as a dependency, save -dev, and it should show up in our JSON file. Alright, and there we have it. We've got Babel at Babel/core, which was our libraries, and we've got the Babel preset, and we also have the Babel loader, all in our dev dependencies. Okay, so I want to go back to my webpack.config file, and I have a property that's called module, and it should be an object. We have to set rules, and let's see, it that way. Okay, so it sets it up as an array, and it's here where you can kind of specify what loaders, all the loaders that you want to use for Webpack. And Webpack is going to use these loaders to create the bundle, but it's important to know that Webpack reads it from right to left and bottom to top. Alright, so I want to put in test, and then // .js. Ooh, that's not right. JS $, comma, and the $sign just means that it's looking for that file. It has to end in .js. It can't be in the middle of the file. But it's the regex or regex. It's looking for the .js file. Then we can exclude some things. We definitely do not want those pesky node modules to be included in this, so we will exclude node modules because we don't need anyone else's code in ours. And then we can make sure that we use the loader, and we want to include the loader, that the Babel loader that we installed. And also with options, we can include the presets. We had the Babel preset -env. And I need to close my array down here. Once I save the file, I want to make sure that it works, so I'll do npm run dev. And it built it successfully. It compiled successfully. We don't see anything down here, but it will compile down to ES5 when we need it to. So I want to try something else. In my src file, I want to add, in my src folder, rather, I want to add component.js. Alright, and in component.js, I just want to type in some, just like some vanilla JavaScript. We can just do const component, and I want to make an arrow function. And we'll do const element and equals document.create element, and I don't want to make a div. I want to do an h2 element here. And we'll do element dot inner HTML, and you just have a message there, but I'll just say, I'll go back to Webpack is really, really awesome, because we all know Webpack is really, really awesome. I want to return this element. Return element, and then we have to export default component. Okay, and we need to import this into our app.js. So we can get rid of this. I'll do import component from component. And Webpack has compiled it successfully. If I do document.body, and then append child to component there. And when we go to our live server, it says Webpack is really, really awesome. And we did that just by using our import. So let's say we wanted to add styling to this. There's a loader that you could use as well. There are actually two of them. So let me close out the terminal, clear it out. You could do npm install css loader and style loader and save it as a dev dependency. Alright, and those should have been added to our package.json as well. There we have our style loader and our CSS loader here. Now we want to go back to our code in our webpack.config. Okay, so we want to add another loader here. So, all right, so that it's still under rules, and we'll add test // dot css $/ comma, and then we want to do use. We want to implement style loader and CSS loader. And it's going to read the CSS loader first, then it'll go to the style loader because it reads right to left. And these need to be in brackets. That's why that's messed up. There we go. And I want to add a file. So inside of my src folder, I want to add a new folder called styles. And in the styles folder, I'll add style.css.
Create a new file, style.css. I'm going to set the body. I set the background to coral, and the color is going to be snow. That's enough for our styles. Go back to the app.js file. We need to import these styles also. Styles.
So I can just so I can style the body. We'll give it a background color of red. No, let's do purple. And then color be white. So I'm going to go back to my app.js, and I need to import my style .css. It should be styles and then / style.css. And then I can do npm run dev. And now we have our purple background with the white coloring font.